Hey guys, it's Squall, and this is part 25, I believe, of Everlasting Summer. And I have no idea what's going on. No idea. This was supposed to be Slavia's story. And it turned into a horror movie. But here we go. The bright sunlight was striking my eyes even through my eyelids. I stretched out lazily and quickly got myself out of the bed. It was 2 p.m. Looks like yesterday really finished me off and my body required much more time to recover than usual. I had a stroll around the room thinking of what I should do today. Obviously my life in the camp would never be the same again after everything that I'd heard from that strange pioneer. And if everything's just as he said, I have plenty of time ahead. I grabbed my hygiene kit and went outside. I managed to take only a couple of steps as somebody ran into my back. I turned around and saw Lisa. "Hey, be careful," she said indifferently and ran on her way. She held some kind of bag in her hands. Whatever. Yet another ordinary day in this crazy place. I finished brushing my teeth and then spent an eternity washing my face with ice-cold water to bring myself to my senses and refresh my head at least a bit. I felt a bit better than that. Suddenly hope struck me from nowhere. It wasn't a hope that I'd be likely to leave this place safely. Rather, I just didn't want to believe that everything is as bad as that guy told me. Oh, great. Good morning. I heard a faint voice coming from the woods. Someone stood behind a tree. Morning. Are you ready? Ready for what? I looked again and it seemed like it was the pioneer from the bus stop yesterday. Indeed, I was prepared for such weirdness today, so I wasn't really surprised and started this conversation quite clear-headed. You didn't believe him, did you? Oh, it's the second one. What are you talking about? Everything that he said. Alright, but what is your opinion on what's happening? I'd already distanced myself from the outside world and decided to treat everything happening to me just like a fictional film, not reality. Hopefully it would give me more room to move around in terms of situational logic analysis. There is an exit. There has to be, he said excitedly. I don't know, but I'd like to believe that too. If you just... Semyon! I turned around. Slavia was standing right next to me. Who are you talking to? No one. Just talking to myself. I hardly think it's worth telling her about aliens from parallel worlds. She probably can't even see them anyway. Have you prepared already? Prepared for another hike? No. Today's the last day of the session. What? A stupid smile settled on my face. There will be a bus this evening. We're leaving. Holy cow. I was ready for even the most incredible of twists, but... right? Was this what that mysterious pioneer was talking about? Probably it was. Well, apparently, I'll have to go for a second lap and live yet another week in this camp. But this time I know everything. I haven't packed yet. It's not like I have much to pack anyway. Okay. Slavia shifted her gaze. Seemed like she wanted to say something but hesitated. Well, see you then. Yeah. I had to ask when we're leaving at least. I went to the square with the intention of discovering that. There's got to be someone I know there. But believe it or not, there was only Gendo waiting for me at the square. Probably all the pioneers are busy with packing. I took a seat on a bench and just stared at the sky. It turns out that today I just have to wait for the departure, pass out on the bus, and wake up in this camp again just like the first day. Everything was drowning in silence. It's exactly that time of a summer day when the sun... Yeah, I'm not reading that. It suddenly crossed my mind that I haven't just missed lunch, but I haven't had any breakfast either. It was ridiculous to search for anything in the canteen. The pioneers had surely cleaned up everything just before the departure. I scratched my head and made my way to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. Surely there should be something edible in the table's drawer. Someone called for me just as I approached the door. Shirk and Electronics swiftly approached the cabin. "Are you already packed up?" "Already packed up," I answered, imitating him. "You haven't been quite yourself the last few days." "What makes you say that?" "How should I know? You know better." "I mean, why are you so concerned?" "No reason." A real pioneer always treats a comrade's problems as his own. I cast a skeptical. Oh, no wonder, it's another word. Skeptical look at him. "Thanks for your concern. I'm fine." There actually was half a loaf of stale bread and a piece of smoked sausage in the drawer. I ate everything with deliberate pleasure, washing it down with smelly water that Olga Dmitrievna probably used to water the plants. Just as I finished, someone started knocking on the door. "Come in." Oh, thank goodness. It just would have been too creepy to have him in here. Uliana rushed into the room. "Oh, it's just you," she said disappointedly. "I know, did you expect to see a circus complete with bears?" Uliana giggled. "Where's Olga Dmitrievna?" "Don't know." I shrugged. "Why not?" "I don't know because I don't know." "What do you want from her anyway?" "Got to ask something before the departure." "Okay, I'll tell her that you were searching for her if I see her." "By the way, why aren't you packing up?" "Like I have much to pack." "Well, see you." She cracked a sly smile and bounded out of the cabin, slamming the door behind her. And still, it's really strange that nobody seems to be puzzled by the sudden departure. And why am I the only one who was not expecting it? Like everyone really cares if I've packed my things up. As well as that, doesn't anyone care that this is the last time we're seeing each other? The words of that guy in the forest yesterday about all the camp's tenants being unreal suddenly sprang into my mind. Well, right now, I'm more ready to believe it than ever. The desk drawer where I found my breakfast contained lots of odds and ends. I grabbed a pencil and a piece of paper, examined them for some time, and then slipped them into my pocket. Just in case. I had no intention of watching over all the pioneers running around and panicking, so I just lay on my bed and didn't even notice how I dazed off. It was somebody's voice that woke me up. Okay, not cool, dude. A familiar pioneer was sitting directly opposite, with his back to me. I've gotten used to him yesterday, and it even seemed I stopped fearing him. Well, you're alone in that. Hey, why do you always hide your face? Because you shouldn't see it. If you say so. I wasn't in any position to argue. So what are you going to reveal this time? You already know that it's the last day of a session, don't you? Yeah. And you've already spoken with that one? Yeah? So, what did he tell you? Nothing special. He said that there's an exit out of here. The pioneer burst into laughter. Yeah, I believed that too ages ago. And now? And what is now? I have my past, my life back then. He stopped talking for some time. Anyway, it was all a long while ago, so I don't really remember. The future is all the same loops, repetition of the same story. Where is this now? Well, I had to say it, but I'm not yet as lost in time as you are. Oh, that's nothing. That'll come with time. He broke into diabolic laughter. That's just one thing I don't understand. What's your reason for coming to me? What do you expect to achieve? Me? Nothing really. So why did you come then? It's just because you, him, and others like us are the only real people around here. Given everything he said to me already, I just wasn't ready to believe that all the local tenants are just puppets in some kind of hellish stage play. Are you sure that you're right? Right about what? Well, that you're right about everything. I can't be right or wrong. I didn't choose this world, I didn't throw myself into it. I'm just here, and you're just here. Listen, I've already got a headache from your philosophizing. I was kind of puzzled myself as to why I was so calm talking to this mysterious pioneer. Well, here it is right in front of me. All the fantasy and devilry that's happened in this camp. Here it is. An explanation, at least a partial one, for how I got here. Here they are. The answers I've searched for such a long time. On the other hand, my behavior was quite logical. While I couldn't quite explain what was happening, this cuckoo guy just talked and talked, but it's not like his words changed anything. Then what's the point of listening to him? Oh no, you will soon understand everything yourself. Somebody was knocking at the door. I got up to open it. It was Slavia on the doorstep. You came to see Olga Dmitrievna? No. Come in then. I was 100% sure that the pioneer had already disappeared. Turns out I was right. Slavia took a seat on the bed and I snuggled against the wardrobe in the far corner of the room. She was distinctly nervous. Did something happen? Not really. It's just that today is the last day. Well, I'm already aware. Better late than never. Well, so I thought. I mean, we probably won't see each other ever again. It's a small world, as they say. But maybe you would give me your address to write letters? I would have, if I only knew it myself. You know, let's do it the other way around. You give me your address, I'll definitely write to you upon arrival. But why don't you want to give out yours? Well, we were just about to move, so you never know. It's better if I write to you. I tried to put on my cutest smile to make my story look more credible. Ah, okay, it's fine then. Slavia got up and seemed to be leaving. Hey wait, what about the address? Let's do it later. An expression of sorrow and disappointment crossed her face. I just shut the door and right then heard the spiteful voice of the pioneer from behind. Well, happy now? You've heard a girl. What have I heard her with? What should have I said to her, my dear? Write to my dear granny in the village? Or should I have left her the address of a house that's probably not even built yet? So what? I am not my brother's keeper. It's your world, not mine. I'll manage somehow on my own. That last phrase really made me squirm. You know what? I didn't manage to finish the phrase. Somebody was knocking at the door again. Come in. Uliana flew into the cabin. Why the rush, my lady? I made an excessively showy bow. Me? I'm just... Her eyes darted about cautiously and her cheeks were blushed. Just wanted to say goodbye. There will be time for that anyway. After all, we'll all be going on the same bus. Yeah, you're right, but it's kind of embarrassing in front of everybody. Oh, so there is something that you can be embarrassed by. I laughed. She pouted. I just wanted to tell you that you aren't a douche, really. In fact, you're almost a cool guy. Her words astonished me. Well, thanks. You're good to hang out with, too. Well, that's that. She rushed outside, slamming the door loudly. Hey, didn't expect that from her? Did you? Got nothing to do with that. I told you. It really looks like you knew what she will say. Maybe I did, maybe not. You just came here to mock me? I started to lose my temper. That idea had also crossed my mind. Then why the hell are you hanging around here? If I ever need a man to comment on all my actions, I'll hire a professional psychologist. You think that after all this time I don't qualify as one? My estimation is that after all the time you've definitely gone bananas. All psychologists are freaks. Yes, but not all freaks are psychologists. He laughed out loud. A sense of humor. How encouraging. Frankly, your jokes are fairly lame. What are you laughing at? At yourself. Listen, if you got nothing to do in your own world, go and bug that second one. And if you got anything to do in your world, the pioneer sharply countered. You know, I'll find out what to do. I'll pack up my things, leave this camp, and then what? Then what? Like I know. I've never been in such a situation before, believe it or not. It's just that you've forgotten that you won't be able to leave this camp. Yeah, he was right on this matter. Probably. Just because you failed to do so, that doesn't mean that I will fail too. You're the boss. There was a knocking at the door. So quiet that I barely heard it. Damn, who else is it? Hissed I under my breath and shouted, "Come in!" But the door didn't open, so I pulled the handle myself. Lena was on the doorstep. It looks like I really scared her. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You came to see Olga Dmitrievna? No, she said, staring at the ground. So what is it then? What did Lena want from me? Come in. She came in and hesitated in the middle of the room. Want to take a seat? I pointed at one of the beds. Lena hesitated a bit more, but nevertheless took a seat. Did something happen? Not at all. It's just... She threw a quick glance at me but blushed at once and looked away. Here. Lena took something out of her pocket and handed it to me. I was stunned. It was my phone. But... Sometimes I wish I had a face cam so you guys could see my expression. If it's what I think it is. Where did you get it from? You found it in the forest. Okay, but why do you think it's mine? Some boy told me so. Have you ever seen him before? I don't know. I couldn't see his face, but he was dressed in a pioneer uniform. Everything was clear at once. And don't you wonder what it is? I looked at the screen. There was still some battery left, therefore the cell phone shouldn't just look like a piece of plastic to Lena. I don't know. Some kind of game. Yeah, you're right. I quickly opened Snake in the menu and handed the phone to her. Here you go, a keepsake. Oh, what are you doing? I can't. Lena waved her hands at me. Take it, I have loads of these at home. She resisted a bit more, but finally she took the device. What do I do with it? Press the keys to move left and right. You've got to eat these pellets and keep from hitting your own tail. Wow, so interesting. She smiled. Thank you. Yet I have nothing for you. It's so embarrassing. I don't need anything. Thanks. No, it's not good, she said with a voice that sounded more confident than usual. It's the last day today after all. Yeah. I hope we'll meet again. I think we will. Then I have a present for you. And what is it? Close your eyes. I did so. And promise me that you won't open them until I tell you. Okay. No, you have to promise. Alright, I promise. In a moment, I felt the light kiss on my cheek. I was really eager to open my eyes, but I promised. Open. The room was empty. What a girl. The only thing I managed to say. So how does it feel, stud? I heard malicious laughter from the place where Lena had just been sitting. So that's your new way of pranking me, huh? Using the others? Me? Pranking? Indeed. You got a kiss from a sweet girl thanks to me. On the cheek. But anyway. I really wanted to beat him up at that moment. But I wasn't even sure that he's a physical being here. I presume that this prank wasn't your last one? I said, calmer. Who knows? Who knows? How is he pulling the strings? Is that what you're getting at? Isn't it fun? The pioneer laughed hard. Perhaps Professor Moriarty laughed like that, anticipating the success of his diabolical plan. You're certainly having fun, but I'm not. Relax, dude. There's almost nothing left. And here you go. Your second lap. After you do a dozen, then you learn a pit stop. Although, you wait, what? Hold up. I totally caught that. After you do a dozen, then you'll earn a pit stop. Although you probably won't need me, then you'll figure out everything yourself. I totally get what you're trying to tell me, game. You're not slick. It's not like I need you right now either. Oh, what ingratitude. Just cut it out. If you'd ever... Just shut up already. No understanding. Shut your damn mouth! I screamed so loud that the walls trembled. The front door suddenly burst open and Lisa came in. Is it just me, or has someone gone completely nutty nuts? She asked with fright. Well, you could say so, I answered angrily. Why are you yelling? 'Cause I want to. I've already realized that the accidental arrival of Lisa was either planned by this pioneer or would be commented by him in a manner that I'd sooner drive a pair of nails into my ears than have to hear. Have you gone psycho or something? Lisa reclined on the bed in a laid-back manner. To what do I owe this honor? I just came for the sake of it. And you're just here screaming? You aren't doing anything just for the sake of it. Got nothing to do, I've packed my stuff. It's boring. Well. If you think that I came to you because... She threw an angry glance at me and turned away. I really shouldn't have come after that. After what? I haven't said a word. Of course, you thought it instead. Oh, so you can read minds now? There's no need to read your mind. It's written all over your face. It was hardly possible to read anything on my face besides fatigue and anger. And what have you read there? It's none of your business. Well, it's not like I'm holding you here. Forget it. I'll go wherever I please. Don't boss me around. Okay, stay here. Anyway, I liked Elisa's company was much more than the pioneers. I lay back and closed my eyes. It took Elisa a few minutes to break the silence. You really don't want to tell me anything? For example, today's the last day after all. So, you're happy? Well, she babbled uncertainly. Everyone's leaving. Good riddance. That's all? You need something else? Didn't you like it here? Her voice sounded unusual. I've seen better places. Damn. You're so dumb that speaking to you is a complete waste of time. She got up and headed to the exit. Yeah, good luck to you too. Elisa turned to me. Her face was writhing with anger. Couldn't you have at least said that you'll miss me? Sure I will. Wimp. She slammed the door loudly. Stupid. Elisa didn't hear my last line, of course. What a wayward chick, huh? As good as you are. And you, in that case. Of course, keep comparing me to yourself, I remarked mischievously. But what's the difference? We're in the same situation. I've just been here a little longer. Well, in fact, a lot longer. And you've already gone completely nuts. No wonder. His hoarse laughter was really pissing me off. Listen, have I already told you that you should be an actor? You do a brilliant Hannibal Lecter. Especially since you consider yourself a psychiatrist. I'll think about it. Well, now I must go. Maybe I'll see you again. Get lost! I turned to look at him, but the pioneer had already disappeared. Finally. But nevertheless, why did he come? It might be the case that me, him, and others like us are the only real people around here, but I desperately didn't want to believe that. Oh, his speech seemed like some sort of complex game. Like he's trying to give me one hint after the other, trying to lead me to something, enabling me to discover some kind of devious plot. Too bad he's not really successful at that, because I'm out of ideas. Time dragged on deceitfully slowly, but it's 5 p.m. already. It's common during the summer. If one counts the seconds and minutes, it appears that even a single hour would never end. But if one thinks of anything else, then the whole day flies by quickly. I decided to start packing. They could leave without me. I quickly took all my winter stuff and shoved it into a bag. I was almost about to jump onto the bed again, but the door opened and Olga Dmitrievna came in. Oh, I see you're packed already. It's great. Let's go. I got up reluctantly, grabbed my simple luggage, and followed her. I really don't care what will happen next. I had long suspected that nothing was up to me in this world, and recent events had reinforced my complete confidence in this. I might wake up tomorrow in bus number 410, or I might not wake up at all. And that's all, folks. It's all that simple. There's no point in staying here, and there's nowhere to run. Basically, my only exit is to leave on the bus with everyone else. Go into the unknown. That's all I've been doing for the last week, stumbling along a narrow path in pitch black darkness, unsure of where is the beginning and where is the end. We were almost approaching the gates when I heard someone calling my name. Semyon. Semyon. Olga Dmitrievna, excuse me just a minute. Okay, but make it faster, we'll leave without you. I headed for the bushes that the voice came from. Semyon. Semyon. I waded through the thick greenery and came out onto a forest path. The voice seemed to be calling from nowhere. One moment it was heard behind a tree, and now it seems to be behind my back. Probably it's one of those aliens from the parallel worlds, but I suspect that I haven't met this exact one before. We don't have much time. I'm listening. I know that you've already been contacted by him and him. Yeah. And I know what they've told you. Don't ask me how. Okay? But you must know one thing. The thing I know. There's more than a dozen of us here. In fact, more than 1,000. But a lot of people got out. I've tried to digest what he said and phrase the right questions. Then why are you here? I stayed. Why? To help others find an exit. Wow, how generous. And why should I trust you? You're the third one already. Well, in fact, I'm not even sure that you all aren't just my hallucination. It's not about trust. Then what is it about? It's about the right choice. Consider this camp to be a giant maze. You should take a few right turns to find an exit. Okay? And how do I know which ones are right? You will know. Come with me. Where to? To the second lap. Hold on a sec. That pioneer said that my second lap will start tomorrow. He lied. The speaker raised his voice. He's gone completely crazy and he's trying to destroy all the others. So if I don't go with you and leave on the bus, then I'll be destroyed, right? I don't know. Then why do you say so? Nobody ever returned after a conversation with him. Listen, why should I trust you? I was definitely on the edge. While that pioneer just mocked me and didn't seem to be a real danger, this one clearly spoke about things worth being anxious about. I couldn't decide which one should I trust. This problem is like trying to get a blind man to say whether the light in the room is on or off. He can only guess, just like me. Hurry up. Time is running out. Hey, wait a sec. Make a choice. Are you coming or not? Oh. Here we go. Okay, let's go. Anyway, he sounded more credible than the crazy pioneer. Of course, the solution could be fatal, but the alternative isn't any better. I just took a shot in the dark. Okay, so where are we going? We are already there. Already there? My eyesight started to fade and I felt my consciousness leaving me. Oh. Semyon. What was Semyon? Semyon? Semyon bad. Okay. Well, that was interesting. Okay. Let's try that again. I am so thoroughly confused. Yeah, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Okay, do not follow the voice. No, you know what? I can't just believe you in only a couple of minutes. At least I've known that other guy for a little longer and his arguments seem to be more weighty. You'll be sorry. Those words sounded like they were coming from another world. The voice seemed to disappear. Of course, I couldn't be sure whether my choice is right or wrong. It was a blind guess enforced by a time limit. Nevertheless, whether I'm right or not, we'll find out soon. In a couple of minutes, I was standing at the bus stop with all the other pioneers. Everybody's here? Began Olga Dmitrievna. You're leaving our camp today, and I'd like to tell you something in parting. She was visibly nervous and desperately lost for words. I hope that you'll remember the time you've spent here for a lifetime and that you'll retain only pleasant memories about Sovyonok. I also hope that you became at least a little bit better, managed to learn something and found new friends. Just come back next year. The camp leader looked away. It's like she was trying to keep the tears inside. I didn't expect her to get so emotional. Although her speech sounded like complete nonsense to me as usual. The pioneers started to crowd into the bus, babbling cheerfully. I decided to hold on a little and say a proper goodbye to this camp. All of a sudden I felt a deep urge to throw a coin. Of course, there's no fountain here and I honestly didn't feel like returning. But it's still just a superstition and I don't believe in them. At least I never believed in them before. Digging through my pockets, I found only a couple of candy wrappers, a pencil and a scrap of paper. I held them for a moment, then I squatted, put the paper on the ground and scribbled a few words. You are here for a reason. Grinning at my stupidity, I threw the scrap under the wheels of the bus and got into the cabin. Huh. I found a place in the middle. But the strangest thing was that everyone sat in pairs and only I was alone. However, what's the difference now? Will either disappear or will we start everything in a couple of hours? The bus was slowly moving towards the district center, occasionally bouncing over the bumps in the road. It was impossible to see anything beyond the old windows in the pitch black dark of the night. Anyway, I couldn't care less about the surrounding countryside. I just sat and waited for the inevitable. For the first time in a long while, my head was completely empty. The pioneers around me enjoyed the trip. Uliana and Elisa were playing cards. Lena was reading a book and Slavia was sleeping. Miku was trying in vain to start a conversation with Xenia, and Xenia was trying really hard not to start killing people. Electronic and Shirk were crafting something as always. I was the only one completely ignored by everyone. It might be a slightly far-fetched perception. I got used to the role of being the center of the universe in this camp. I thought that everything revolved around me. But that might be so up to a certain degree. But here and now I'm only a foreign object, an out-of-place molecule in the harmonic pattern of a crystal grid. I'm not sure how long we'd spent on the road, but sleep had already started to overcome me. I was desperately fighting Morpheus, trying to stay awake as long as I could. After all, it's quite possible that today is the last day of my life. Then probably it's reasonable to cling as hard as I could to these last few hours of meaningless, useless existence. However, physical fatigue, and more importantly emotional fatigue, took its toll, and I fell asleep. A sharp pain throbbed through my entire body. I felt it especially sharply in my temples. It feels like they were ready to shatter into 1,000 little pieces, giving the free wind access to my empty head. Probably I would not have been able to stand even 5 minutes after such torture if I hadn't opened my eyes in time. I was somewhere. It was impossible to tell precisely where. My mind was clouded in mist. My thoughts were confused. The moment between the unconscious and conscious states where you vividly remember your dreams. Okay, you're new? Huh. I was going somewhere by bus and was about to doze off when suddenly a girl came up to me and began to speak quickly. I couldn't understand a word, but the girl looked very upset. I failed to understand what she needed from me. Time passed and she kept talking on and on. It was getting really annoying. I wanted to ask her to cut it out or at least calm down a bit, but I failed. Either because I didn't manage to say anything or because my words didn't reach her. I couldn't even see her face. Is her hair going up, or is that what I think it is? Are you who I think you are? Hold up. Braid? It's you. It's totally you, isn't it? You even have the little bow. Cat girl. Nice to meet you, finally. This is absolutely crazy. I love this story. I couldn't even see her face. I was simply listening and staring and listening. Perhaps it wasn't important for me then. Surely you would not try to remember what a mosquito disturbing your sleep looks like. Surely you wouldn't manage to recall the frequency of its flapping wings or the inclination of its proboscis after that. And this girl is just one of a million voices that disturb you from concentrating, from thinking, from falling asleep. The louder her voice grew, the harder it got for me to catch her words. The bus cabin, the seats worn by time, the uneven floor, the rusty ceiling, the cracked glass of the windscreen, everything was floating away. Along with her. And then I felt a unique sense of relief. It didn't matter how real the bus and the girl had been, it was nothing but a bug to me. And here I am, hanging in total emptiness and falling inside a dream. Wow, dreams can be really something. Not quite a nightmare, yet definitely not something pleasant. I got up, rubbed my face to get back to reality, gave a loud yawn and prepared to clean myself up. It was a really gray morning. Unable to find my hygiene kit on the nightstand, I concluded that I could manage without it. It was hard to get dressed. My hands were trembling like hell. I looked at my reflection in the mirror and checked out my 2-week stubble. Well, perhaps Olga Dmitrievna has a razor. It was only when I went outside that I suddenly understood that I'm not in a pioneer camp. I'm back in my apartment. And I've just come out of my room into a passageway not out of the cabin. I was overwhelmed with surprise, with dismay, with fear, even with terror. But how? Whoa. I sat down on the bed and buried my face into my hands, trying to remember the chain of yesterday's events. Yeah, the bus, the last day of the term. Yeah, I fell asleep and woke up back home. Well, to some degree, it might even seem quite logical. It seemed that the initial astonishment has worn off during the first few seconds. After all, the fact that I came back like this after a week-long absence is no stranger than my sudden appearance at some pioneer camp of the 80s in the first place. The events of the last 2 days flashed before my eyes in an instant. That mysterious pioneer, his words. But how did I manage to get back to reality then? According to him, I was going to be stuck there forever as there's no exit. On the other hand, I wasn't alone. That pioneer at the bus stop and the mysterious voice emphasized the contrary, that the exit exists. Does that mean that I found it? I managed to get out of the endless loop? But how? Nevertheless, I wasn't sure whether I should rejoice or grieve. Over the last week, I'd kind of gotten used to the everlasting inner monologue, the search for answers and the in-depth analysis of everything. So I simply couldn't accept this fact as it was, without figuring out what exactly happened to me. Sure, he told me that I'm the only one who has observed the existence of other guys like me during their very first loop, but does that mean anything? Anyway, all his theories and ideas instantly collapsed like a house of cards. Now I had to decide how I should react. Of course I should rejoice. After all, I'm back to the real world. Maybe the last 7 days were just a dream. Indeed, there's absolutely no evidence that I was really there. I don't see my pioneer uniform anywhere. I look my age just like I did before. My phone is on the table, fully charged. But one can't deceive one's own memory. One can't live through such terrifically real experiences in a dream. I still remember the events of the whole week in great detail. Perhaps I was in a coma all this time? An ironic laugh escaped my lips. Nah, that's not an option either. Then, all's well that ends well? The last few hours in the camp flashed through my mind. Indeed, I wasn't hoping to get out, either from that camp or from that reality, and I was pretty much ready for another week. And another one. I had accepted my role. I had reconciled with my destiny. And what was I supposed to do after all the stuff that happened? I heaved a doomed sigh, got up from my bed with considerable effort and went to my computer. That's weird, but according to it, only 14 hours have passed since my disappearance from this world. Not a whole week. 14 hours. A new message in the instant messenger. Hi, Semyon, yesterday. It was legendary. See you later. My college friend. It was him who invited me to that party with the rest of his college friends that I was going to attend. Suddenly all my senses came back to me, the headache, the dizziness, all the symptoms of a hangover. It looks like I indeed attended that party yesterday, and I was partying hard. So, there was no pioneer camp? But then where did all these memories, emotions, and feelings come from? All of this was so incomprehensible that I became enraged. I began cursing foully, trying to tear my hair out and hammering on the keyboard with my fist. I didn't return to a normal state until there was no keys left on it. Why should I care so much? Nobody worries when a dream or a hallucination ends. Moreover, people are usually glad that it happens. Was I really that prepared to stay there that my return to reality became so undesirable for me? And then a simple and obvious thought crossed my mind. Perhaps I'm just going insane. Indeed, madmen frequently have visions which they perceive as reality. Besides, I had all the symptoms of insanity. I never leave the four walls of my prison. I never socialize. I have lots of psychological problems. Well, that explains a lot. My dark, nervous laughter echoed in the room. Guess it's the right time for me to visit a therapist, or rather a psychiatrist. Or should I just surrender myself at the asylum? A horse, half a kingdom for a horse. I cried at the top of my lungs between bouts of my manic laughter. Dispute not with her, she is a lunatic. The racket my neighbors made on the wall calmed me down somehow. If I'm tripping that bad, looks like only a lobotomy could help me. If I just sat completely freaked out for several hours, doing nothing, thinking nothing, just staring at the monitor, long since gone into sleep mode. Finally, I moved the mouse and opened a few tabs in the browser. So what's new? F5. As if the events of the past week had never happened. Come on, do you have to grieve for a hallucination? Was it real? Sure. Lots of memories? Sure. Looks true enough? By all means, yes. Any proof? Nope. The verdict is clear, as is my future course. I have long suspected my current lifestyle wasn't doing me any good. I wasn't ready for such an unusual event, but so what? I'll have to be more prepared for my next trip. Night. An endless stream of threads and images took my mind off my lamentations and considerations. An instant message window popped up most unexpectedly. Hi, how are you doing? Sure, quite an original way to start a conversation. Doing fine. The contact's profile was completely empty. Not even a nickname, just a 9-digit number. You can't guess what kind of person is on the other end by just looking at a number, can you? Sure, someday it will all be different. Unified digital identifiers instead of names. A couple of symbols for a biography, several bytes of personality, and 3.5 bits of feelings. Get home safely? Probably someone from yesterday's party. Seems like it. You do remember everything I told you yesterday, right? Well, I guess not. There was yet another message after a long pause. I see. Honestly, I don't give a damn who this is and why he is messaging me. Until this unidentified individual starts harassing me, I could easily tolerate his presence in my contact list. Well, that's okay. We'll meet again. We surely will. Sure, looking forward to it. Yeah. Alright. Bye. I didn't reply. This odd, screwed up day at last was slowly coming to an end. Going to bed, I yet again recalled in my head all the events that seemed so real for me. Where am I going to wake up tomorrow? Would these hallucinations return? Now I'll probably just forget everything. Strange, but now I'm really feeling that everything happening now is real. There was just a fiction, a game of deformed imagination, or really something fantastical, and here's reality. Sometimes inconvenient, sometimes it unfolds differently from how you'd wish, surprises you like this, but it's still reality. I fell asleep with these thoughts. Bit by bit, my life resumed to its normal course. Okay, hang on a second, if this is gonna be as long as the last time, I need to take a break, hang on. Bit by bit, my life resumed its normal course, and I started to forget the events of that week. After all, nothing bad happened. Even if it was indeed real, who cares? There were only 7 days in a pioneer camp. I wasn't killed. Nobody kidnapped me to conduct experiments. I wasn't brainwashed. So why do I care now about the reason? I was still a shut-in. My computer and the internet were my only friends, and the keyboard was the only communication channel connecting me to the outside world. The F5 key became the main thing in my life again. Come to think of it, it wasn't really all that bad. Yet one day a familiar combination of digits popped up on the screen. The strange contact of mine had come online once again. Hey. Hey. How are you doing? Doing fine. Probably I knew him from somewhere, but who cares anyway? Any news? Not really. Stability is a sign of true class? One might say so. Oh, I see. This conversation was over for me, but he didn't seem to feel like that. So nothing has changed? Nope. Should it have? Well, it's not like you experience stuff like that on a day-to-day basis. Not everybody gets to experience it either. What are you talking about? Did you get it? Was starting to. I prefer you to explain. Don't you remember the camp? It felt like an electric shock. All the events of that week immediately sprang up in my mind. My hands started to tremble, a cold sweat burst from my forehead. I turned around in horror, already imagining that I'd seen aliens, ghosts, or the Grim Reaper. But there was nobody in my room except me, as always. I ran to the corridor, checked in the kitchen and in the bathroom, still nobody. At last I returned to the computer. The same message window was still flashing steadily as if it was a perfectly ordinary message. Who are you? My hands were trembling so much I could hardly hit the right keys. Oh, so you do remember it. My hallucinations seem to be continuing, or did I never leave the camp in the first place? Or it's just a dream after all, or... I don't know what to say. I admitted sincerely. I felt that this entity doesn't need any kind of internet to communicate with me. Well, you can just keep silent. Everything's perfectly clear, XD. That smiling at the end of the line looked oh my gosh. Looked like the devil himself, stretching his deformed jaws open. Do not disrespect the XD face like that, Semyon. What is happening to me? I finally made up my mind to ask that question. Nothing at all. You're just living your regular life. But the camp, was it real? What do you think? I'm not sure. If it seemed real to you, then yes it was. It was real. If not, then it wasn't. It's just that simple. It's not simple at all. What will happen to me next? I whispered. Nothing to worry about. It seems that it really hurt me without the news of the internet. Terror chained my whole body. I closed my eyes and curled myself into a ball. Why are you doing this to me? I started to lose it. Words were coming out of my mouth by themselves, illogical, meaningless set of words. Why me? What for? Leave me alone. I haven't done anything bad. Several minutes after, I found the courage to open one eye and take a look at the monitor. You are the reason for everything. The message window was flickering coldly. And what's next? No, you'll see that soon enough. Everything started fading to black in my eyes. Noise filled my ears and I started to feel dizzy. I felt that my very soul was escaping its physical shell. The events of the last few days became hazy, as if they'd all happened to someone other than me. Then the memories of the camp started to vanish, as if somebody was using an eraser to thoroughly rub out the words written with a pencil. Moments later I felt and sensed nothing, as though I was plunged into a state of cosmic bliss. If anyone saw me at that moment, they would notice that I was smiling. I'm kind of stuck here. I hit the report spam button, closed the window, switched to the browser and glanced at the clock. Time to get going, I'm gonna be late. What? Late for what? Oh, come on. Really, game? Really? How is that a good ending? every time that I get more answers, it just leaves me with even more questions than I started with. But I freaking love it. Okay, so this was supposed to be Slavia's route. Things didn't go as planned. Apparently we got Semyon. Okay. Semyon bad ending and Semyon good ending. Knocked out too. Because why not? I'll see you guys next time.